This is Daniella Whyte with Urban Christian News Network. Thank you for joining us on this Friday, May 23, 2014. Here are the top 10 news stories that you need to know about right now. First today, according to Fox News, the IRS has agreed to overhaul a controversial proposal that Republican lawmakers warned would revive the agency's harassment and intimidation of conservative groups, after receiving a record number of comments on the proposed regulation. The new rules have been in the works ever since the IRS came under fire for its targeting of Tea Party and other conservative groups. In the wake of that scandal, the agency said it wanted to clarify for everybody how tax-exempt groups can engage in political activity by reining in the political works those groups do. But Republicans, as well as some on the left, worry the new rules would only exacerbate the kind of targeting that stonewalled Tea Party groups in the first place. For months, they've urged the IRS to scrap the proposal entirely, saying it would stifle free speech. Senator Orrin Hatch, a Republican from Utah among those senators, called Thursday's decision a long overdue step in the right direction. He said in a statement the IRS is right to abandon its previously proposed rules governing 501c4 organizations that threaten free speech and the rights of all American citizens to participate in the democratic process. Second today, according to the Washington Post, Veterans Affairs Secretary Shinseki vowed Thursday to stay in office and pledged to address the allegations of health care mismanagement that have besieged his agency and the Obama administration. In a brief interview with reporters on Capitol Hill, Shinseki initially demurred when asked why he thought he should keep his job. When a reporter noted that he's been under the gun all week, Shinseki quickly shot back, "This is not the first time." Shinseki is a former Army general who served 2 tours of duty in Vietnam and earned a Purple Heart after losing part of his right foot in battle. He was unanimously confirmed as VA Secretary on the first day of Obama's presidency in January 2009. The VA has come under scrutiny for the level of care it provides after allegations that some department employees had falsified data to hide the long wait times that some veterans had to endure before they could receive treatment. The uproar has produced many calls for Shinseki's resignation, but the Secretary said Thursday he had not offered his resignation to President Obama and had no plans to do so. Third today, according to Christian Headlines, the Church of Scotland is discussing ordaining gay people as ministers during its annual General Assembly. The conversation will extend through Friday, reports Christianity Today. In last year's meetings, church leaders decided that the Church of Scotland would not support same-sex marriages, but it would permit gay men and women to be ordained. The decision sparked some congregations to break off and form the anti-gay Free Church. This week, most of the large Stornoway High congregation left the Church of Scotland in favor of the Free Church. So far, 8 former Church of Scotland ministers have converted to the Free Church. Fourth today, according to the New York Times, 4 days before a watershed presidential election in Ukraine, a new round of deadly fighting flared in the east of the country on Thursday. At least 13 government soldiers were reported killed in an abrupt escalation of violence as pro-Russian separatists struck back against government efforts to subdue them. The clashes could represent a risk for the interim authorities in Kyiv, the capital, who have claimed to be getting the upper hand against the rebels, encouraged by rifts among separatist groups occupying public buildings in numerous cities in the southeast. In a posting on Facebook, Ukraine's acting Prime Minister Arseniy P. Yatsenyuk accused Russia of escalating the conflict in eastern Ukraine and of trying to disrupt Sunday's election. He called for an emergency meeting of the United Nations Security Council and said he would provide evidence to support his claim. Fifth today, according to Reuters, explosives hurled from 2 vehicles which plowed into an open market in China's troubled Xinjiang region killed 31 people on Thursday. State media reported the deadliest act of violence in the region in years. China called the attack in the regional capital of Urumqi a serious violent terrorist incident, and domestic security chief vowed to strengthen a crackdown on the arrogance of terrorists. 94 people were wounded. China has blamed a series of knife and bomb attacks in recent months on separatist militants from Jinping, the traditional home of the ethnic Muslim Uyghurs. 6 today, according to the Christian Science Monitor, after years of trying to limit international attention to the extremist group Boko Haram, Nigeria is switching course and is now seeking global recognition of the Islamist militants as a terrorist organization. The United Nations Security Council could act as early as Thursday on a Nigerian request to have Boko Haram placed on the UN's list of terrorist organizations associated with al-Qaeda. Nigeria, currently serving on the 15-member council as one of the 10 rotating members, made the request on Wednesday. Also on Wednesday, President Obama announced that 80 U.S. military personnel have been sent to Chad on Nigeria's northeastern border. The troops are assigned to help in what has become an international search for more than 270 Nigerian schoolgirls kidnapped by Boko Haram in April and still being held by the radical group. 7 today, according to the Associated Press, hundreds of firefighters and other personnel are battling a northern Arizona wildfire, trying to keep it away from communities south of Flagstaff. The human-caused slide fire has burned 7.5 square miles in and around Oak Creek Canyon, a scenic recreation area along a highway between Sedona and Flagstaff. Fire Management Team spokesman Dick Fleischman says a primary focus of firefighting efforts on Thursday will be to pinch off the fire where it has reached the top of the canyon's northeast corner to keep it from burning into the Flagstaff area. Authorities on Wednesday warned about 3,200 residents in 2 areas south of Flagstaff that they need to be ready to evacuate if the fire makes another advance. The firefighting operation now totals 500 people. 8th today, according to Christian Headlines, Dordt College and Cornerstone University have been temporarily exempted from the national birth control mandate by a federal court. The 2 Christian colleges in Iowa and Michigan have presented a case against participation in the Affordable Care Act on grounds of religious disagreement. The court has allowed the colleges to be blocked from the mandate while the lawsuit continues. The court granted the temporary exemption because the colleges could suffer irreparable harm if they were forced to comply. U.S. District Court Judge Mark W. Bennett wrote, also it is the colleges are sufficiently likely to succeed on the merits, meaning the judge believes Dordt College and Cornerstone University will win their cases. Alliance Defending Freedom is representing the Christian colleges. ADF Senior Counsel Gregory S. Baylor expressed his approval of the court's decision. 9 today, according to NDTV, Thailand's military on Thursday ordered protesters on both sides of the kingdom's political divide to disperse and go home after it seized power in a coup. An army spokesman said in a televised address that in order to keep peace and order all protesters from every group must leave for their homes immediately, adding that buses had been arranged to take them away. 10th and finally today, according to the Associated Press, the global chemical weapons watchdog says the last 100 tons of Syria's declared stockpile of precursors for poison gas and nerve agents have been packed and are ready for transport, but Damascus says it's too risky to move them. Syria is already well behind schedule in removing its stockpile of some 1,300 metric tons of chemicals that it declared to the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons last year. All the chemicals were supposed to have been destroyed by the end of June, but that deadline now appears out of reach. The U.S. says it needs 60 days to destroy hundreds of tons of highly toxic chemicals on board a specially equipped ship. Syria's civil war has sent millions fleeing and killed more than 160,000 people. That's today's top 10 news stories. You can read these stories and more at urbanchristiannewsnetwork.com. As you go throughout this day, keep this word in mind. 1 Corinthians 9:16 says, For though I preach the gospel, I have nothing to glory of, for necessity is laid upon me. Yea, woe is unto me if I preach not the gospel.